I hadn't heard from him in a while, so I reached out. Every day is a story. I'm Shannon Cason. I was asked to do an interview with a storytelling friend, Trisha Rose Burt, for her podcast, No Time to Be Timid. Check out No Time to Be Timid whenever you get a chance. A great podcast. But I was prepping for the interview, and I was talking to her producer, Adam. And I noticed he was a cool guy. Then during the interview, I mentioned how my storytelling is an evolution from my hip-hop days, and how even now I look at my short stories as songs in a way. So afterwards, Adam said that he loved hip-hop too, and we just kind of hit it off from a general interest and love of hip-hop music and culture. So we shared numbers. I got his number, he got mine, and we started texting each other all the time. And this kind of sounded like a love connection, but it was a love of hip-hop connection for sure. Then we would ask questions like, which 90s hip-hop group right now, 90s hip-hop album that gets the most replay value right now? Like, who would get the most replay value? And then we'll add, like, best producer MCs of all time. Let's list those. Best producer MCs. And then I found out that he makes beats. He didn't offer the information right away. We had been texting for months, and then all of a sudden I find out he makes beats. So he shared some of his batches of beats with me. Then I found out that he rhymes, because I just asked the question, hey, you make beats, do you rhyme too? And I found out he rhymes. And he had been, now let me say this. This is a white dude in New Hampshire. So sometimes if you're a hip hop head, sometimes when you hear somebody rhyme, you don't necessarily want to hear their beats, or you don't necessarily want to hear them rhyme, because it might not be exactly what you expected. It might be whack. This is what I'm saying. So, but he sent it. He rhymes. Good stuff. Good shit. I'm telling you. Rhymes. And I was like, dang. But he was actually he had a popular group. He was doing stuff with a lot of major artists and actually in the industry, so I was just shocked by this. But he told me that he was coming to Chicago and he was going to meet up with his producer and hip hop friends in Chicago, and that we could meet up, So I went to this record shop on the South Side. I know I'm going to butcher the name. I think it's Miyake Records. It's a cool newer record shop. I think it's on 47th, I believe. And so I went out there and visited him, talked to him in person, met him, cool ass dude. We had the first time meeting in person. So now when I needed music for Homemade, I was changing up the music. I needed the intro, I needed the outro, and I needed some like beats in between stuff. So I talked to Adam, and he goes by Echo Finch for his production name is Echo Finch. So I talked to him because his beats, they have like this quality where it's hip hop, it's good music, but it's not like only hip hop. Like you could feel like other markets will like it as well. So the beat worked for me because it was genuine to hip hop, but also it was inviting to everybody, and I like those kind of beats. So, and I know a lot of beat makers, so I know a bunch of people. I can get a lot of different beats, but I liked Echo Finch's beats for that purpose, for Homemade and for my podcast purposes. So we kept the conversations going. When the New Clips album dropped, we gave an honest review of the album. We always get these honest reviews if it's a new album that come out when we talk about it, because some of the albums aren't as good. And the Clips album is a modern classic. That's a modern classic. We agreed on that. But he was dropping new music too, all along the way. He's dropping new music on Bandcamp, great albums on Bandcamp. And I would be the first to buy it if it was on Bandcamp, and he'll send me test songs of songs that didn't make the album, which I thought were pretty good, and we just text all the time. And one of the things I really love, he'd text me when a new a really good homemade episode come out that he could relate to. And I was glad that he was checking out my stuff too. So then starting 2026, I hadn't heard from Adam in a little while. You know, I was thinking of him because when I started Every Day as a Story, which this is, I needed some beats. And I used this one beat that he had sent me. It was like a kalimba. A kalimba, you know those kalimbas with the little, it has little prongs on it and you can play it like that. It's a real simple instrument, but he had sent me a beat of a kalimba. So I was using that beat for this project, the Every Day is a Story. And I hadn't heard from him in a while, but it made me think to reach out to him. So I sent him a text. I said, hey, checking in, what's up with you? And I didn't hear back. That's not a biggie though with me, because when I text, you can get back to me later in the week when you get the message. It ain't no big deal. You don't have to text me right back because I'm not going to hit people right back when they text me. But eventually he texts me the next day, and I'm going to read it because I think it's he can say it better. So I say, checking in. What's up with you? He say, yo, man, I'm way late on this text. I don't even know where to start. Very, very long story short. I had a stroke right in the last week of February. I couldn't talk for a while. Turns out that I had a hole in my heart. I had no idea. Was in the hospital for a while recovering. Then finally last week I was able to get surgery to close the hole. Now I'm healing up good, and I'm just taking it easy. Been some wild shit, but I'm alive, and I'm almost back to my old self. How you doing? I'm like, what the? Of course, I'm shocked. So, in Adam, I'm 50. I think he's younger than me. He got to be like, probably like 40 something, you know, early 40s, I would guess. I ain't, you know, guys, we don't really get into all that stuff. You know, what's your age and what's your how your health looking and all that kind of stuff. But I was not expecting that. He says that he'll have all his mobility. Praise God. He said that he's going to recover, you know, so that, like in our conversations, he said that it brought his whole community together, everybody in his community in New Hampshire and his family and friends and his loved ones and his wife, and I'm sure his wife's family, all with him. So that's a beautiful thing, man, to bring community together. But the thing that got me is you never know. You just never know. I'll be checking in on him often. Make sure you send some love to Adam and Echo Finch. Send them some good energy in New Hampshire. But this was a text yesterday when he sent me a text while I was at the gym working out. He sent me that text, just threw me off. But that was my moment of meaning for the day, obviously. So moment of meaning is like check in on your people. You don't always know what's going on. So check in on them. So the question for you is, who haven't you checked in with for a long while? Why not? Go reach out. What's your story?